Excel Chapter 3 Tutorial, pages 134 through 139. Okay, on page 134, it tells you to open a file called Fitness and do a file save as and name it Fitness Tracker to your flash drive or your SkyDrive or your computer at home. So I'm just going to assume you've done that. If you haven't, pause and do that really quick, please. Up to the top of page 135, to enter Daniel's personal data. In cell C8, enter Daniel Pridham, let's call him Pridham, as the client's name. Okay, so in cell C8, put in the client's name. I can't type today. And always remember to press your enter key when you're finished to make Excel accept it. In cell C9, enter sedentary. All right, in the range C10 to C14, enter the information in step number 3. Okay, so he's 45 years old. Let's see, his weight is 193. His height in inches is 70. His waist is 37. And his neck is 15.5. Okay? Now, read the explanation of documenting formulas, please. And then we'll move on to the middle of page 135 to review the documentation in the Fitness Tracker workbook. Step number 1, click the Explanation of Formulas sheet tab. Okay, Explanation of Formulas. Read the sheet's contents, reviewing the description of common fitness terms and formulas. As you continue developing the Fitness Tracker workbook, you'll learn about these terms and formulas in more detail. Okay, so you need to know what BMI stands for, what BMR stands for. I'm sure you understand calories burned, but you need to understand active BMR and METs, the metabolic equivalents. Okay, so make sure you kind of go through here and read this so that as we're working on this tutorial, you understand what we're talking about and what we're doing. It's not enough just to, poke buttons and do the little steps in the book. You really need to understand it. All right, click the Fitness Report Sheet tab to return to the Fitness Report worksheet. Read the explanatory notes in cell B26 and F46. Okay, so B26 right here. This is going to explain BMI. And then we have the BMR, okay, at-rest BMR, and the METs. And then in cell F46, attended workouts are marked with an X. Okay, these are actually really important explanations you have on here. You know that I take roll in an Excel worksheet, and I actually turn those into the college. So I put an X every time you're here and an A if you're absent, and guess what is sitting on my worksheet too? Exactly, a little explanation that says X means the student was present for a class and A means they were absent. So you never assume that anyone knows what you mean. You never know who's going to be looking at your work. So you always add in explanations. All right, on the bottom of page 135, read using constants in formulas. Okay, this is, again, something you have to know how to do. For some of you, math is a little bit of a challenge. So you want to make sure that you're very careful to read this and understand the calculations. And then we're going to flip over onto page 136, where you're going to read the little blue insight box and keep on reading the next two little paragraphs. And again, super important, so that when you look at that formula and you see that little upwards pointing caret, that you know that means exponentiation. Okay, you have to know these things. The exponent operator is that little caret. Okay, so read both those carefully, and then we'll move on to about the middle of 136 to enter the BMI formula in the Fitness Report worksheet. All right, in cell C19, enter the formula. Okay, so C19 equals 703 times C11. You can click or type C11, either one, divided by C12. Okay, and then remember the little exponent, we're doing exponentiation. That is shift 6. It's on top of the number 6. If you're working on a laptop, it could be different and you might have to find it, but it should be right there. Shift 6, we make our little caret, okay, to the second power right there. The exponent is 2. And then you press your enter key. Okay, this formula multiplies the weight in cell C11 by the constant 703 and then divides the resulting value by the square of the height in cell C12. The calculated BMI value that is displayed in cell C19 is 27.68959184. Okay? Moving on to step number 2, we're going to go back to cell and click on C19 again to make it active. And we're going to reduce the number of displayed decimals to 1. Okay, so we're going to go up to reduce the decimal, and we're just going to keep clicking until it shows 1 decimal. Reach up and hit save. All right, go ahead and read these next couple little paragraphs. And once you've done that, on page 137, to enter the BMR formula in the fitness report worksheet, in cell C21, enter the formula. Okay, this is a good long one. Equals 6.23 times C11 plus 12.7 times C12 minus 6.76 times C10 plus 66. Really glad we didn't have to figure out that formula ourselves and they gave it to us. When you have that correct, and I'm going to stop and check mine really quick, plus 12.7, hit your enter key, and cell C21 displays 1853.19. Okay, if it doesn't, just go back up and find the error in your formula. And when you have it corrected, we'll move on. Click back onto cell C21. And we want only, how many? We want no decimal places. Reduce the number of decimals displayed to 0. Yes, we want no decimal places. Just like that. So it reads 1853. Okay, so 1,853 calories per day. Amount assumes no physical activity. You can read this whole little thing right here. Read those 2 paragraphs. And we are going to move on to calculating Daniel's active BMR. So in cell C22, enter the formula equals, I like this one, it's very short, C21 times P8. C21 times P8. Press your enter key. And you should have 2,223.828. Back onto C22 to make it active. And we want no decimal places. Okay, hit save. I don't know about you, but I don't want to retype any of those formulas. Let's flip over to page 138 and go ahead and read about identifying notes, input values, and calculated values. And when you finish that, we'll move on to the bottom where it says to apply cell styles to differentiate cells with notes, input values, and calculated values. Step number 1, select the merged cell B26. On the Home tab in the Styles group, click the Cell Styles button to open the Cell Styles gallery. On the Home tab in the Styles group, right here, and we want the explanatory text style located in the Data and Model group. Okay, so we're going to look at our different groups. Here's Data and Model group, and we want explanatory right there. Go ahead and click on that. And move up to the top of page 139. Step number 5, format the range C8 to C14. Okay, C8 right there to C14 with the input cell style. So again, on the Home tab in the Styles group, and this time under Data and Model, we want input. Okay, step number 6, format the non-adjacent range C19, so we want C19, and then C21 through C22. Remember to use your control key, and always let go of your mouse first. And this one we want the calculation cell style. Okay, calculation. See it right there under data and model. Okay, step number 7. Format the range G22 through J44. So G22 through J44. Right there. With the input cell style. See it right there? Next, you'll create a legend to identify which cells are input cells and which cells are calculated cells. All right, in cell C2, there's C and there's 2. Enter input values as the label. And we're going to format the cell with the explanatory text style and right align the text in the cell. Okay, so we want to use the explanatory text style, which is right there. And we want to right align. Please remember on your Home tab in the alignment group, you have your alignment buttons. If you touch them, they light up with a screen tip that tells you which one is which. And that one is align right. Okay, in cell C4, which is right there, enter calculated values. All right, and what do we want? Use a format painter to copy the formatting in C2 and paste it onto C4. Okay, super easy. Click on C2. On your Home tab in the clipboard group, click on Format Painter one time. Then click on cell C4, which is our destination cell. We want the formatting from this cell copied here, so you just click on cell C4, and it does it. All right, step number 10. Format cell D2 with the input cell style. D2, input is right there. And format D4, right there, with the calculation cell style, right there. And deselect, hit save, and you are ready to move on to the next video.